guys there where bat was bad, right? Then it kind of chilled, right? And then it got reached. It's always been bad. You know what I mean? Like there was a time in 1968 where Jeffrey was beating Buffett so bad.
Sometimes I forget.
The guys who Buffett shut the lights off in the gym, and a riot started. My father was a sergeant on the team. It was a riot.
Studio audience where it says live over there.
Then the violence had an uptick, right? So my sophomore year, Taunton High School said, "Fuck you, we're not hosting it," right? Brockton says, "Fuck you, we ain't hosting it." Massasoit, "Fuck you, we ain't doing it," right? So BAP had to come in, right? And it had massive security. Like, if you're from New Bedford, you had to show your ID. You had to go on one side. If you were from Fall River, you had to show your ID. You had to go on the other side. And, like, the place was fucking... the fire department would never let that go today. I mean, it was fucking crazy.
No, they had that little fight at the football game this year.
I remember he's scoring. He's running down the sideline.
Yeah. Stevie wins. Stevie
I
wins.
can only imagine the shit that was being spewed by people during those games.
No. Yeah,
like Garnett over here.
Actually, I wasn't a talker like all game. I would talk at the moment, but those guys from the Bedford don't shut the fuck up all game. You know what I mean? And we're friends with them. Yeah, I mean, the problem was never between the players. After that game, as a matter of fact, we took the Reed Road exit. They dropped cement cinder blocks from the overpass and threw bricks through every fucking window of the bus.
I mean, I played soccer.
That would lead off Fox News today.
I played soccer in Somerset. When we went to Durfee, the kids getting out of the Morton over there would all throw rocks at our bus and stuff like that. And nobody cared about those games. So I can only imagine.
Are we ready to go?
We're ready to go.
All right. Now, my interview style is...
Got that on vibrate?
Yeah. My interview style is chronologically, okay? So I'm going to take you back to when you were a young kid, right? And just walk you through where you are, okay? All right, let's rock and roll. I've interviewed 5 U.S. president guys, 5 people that ran from U.S. president: Mickey Ward, Vinny Paz, Ray Mark.
What's his name? A couple weaweeks ago.
The
GM from the Dodgers, the kid from Fall River.
I think I think it makes it more humanizes the person more. Tim White said it was the best interview he's ever got. You know, Tim White that chases everybody around on Channel 12. You watch that interview with me and him on YouTube. It's fucking wild. But we were cool because we had a lot in common because his father had a legacy, did what he did, right? You remember his father, the old man? The old man got like the highest award in journalism ever. Are we good, Daniel?
We're good to go.
All right, we're ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Badcatz Sports Podcast in New England. And I'm lying. It's not another edition. It's a very special one. Special to me and my relationship with the Kolek family, father and son here tonight. We are missing the brother. Where's your brother, man?
He's at home. We just worked out, me, my dad, and CJ Ward, my assistant from St. George's, but
sure.
He didn't want to come.
He didn't want to come? Good, because I want to check his arm for the magnet that he still has to that Tabor game that we were just talking about when he snatched victory from the jaws of defeat and sent my family into a depression for a couple of months after that game at Tabor, which was an unbelievable basketball game. And a lot of people talk about your dad. I can tell you stories about your dad. A lot of people talk about you, but let's not forget there's a brother there too that I think was seriously underrated and a dangerous, dangerous dude. And he put it all on display in that game. So shout out to your brother. I don't know if he's listening out there. But like I told you about my interview style, we're going to take you back to day one. What is your first memory regarding basketball in your life?
First memory would probably be at the Cumberland Boys and Girls Club. I mean, they used to have this rug court. Now it's like tile. But yeah, we'd always be down there. It's probably 5 minutes from my house.
And who's we?
Just me, my brother, my dad.
Sure.
My mom would be down there in the stands. I mean, my grandparents would all be there watching.
Yeah.
I mean, like the other day at the Providence game, it just felt like I was a little kid again.
Sure.
My whole family was there.
All the people that was important
my
to you,
aunts,
right?
Like everybody that was there from, when I was 5 years old playing at the Boys and Girls Club.
Sure.
Cool.
That's cool. The backyard. Did it go down there too?
Yeah, we got a little. It's not as big as a half court. It probably goes to like the
Me
right
and my
outside
brother
the blocks.
played in like an old school driveway that was treacherous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ours,
yeah,
we had the stone wall right here and then
Yeah.
the garage right here on this side. So it's like not even outside the block. So you're basically just playing like alley ball is what they like.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's basically what it
Learning
is.
tight spaces.
Yeah, I know. Learning tight spaces.
We used
is
to have
like-
some battles back there.
Sure. What's the age difference between you and your brother?
He's 2 years older than me.
2 years
Yeah.
older than you. Do you remember the name of the first team you played for?
Nah, I mean, like probably on the boys club
Was
team.
it, did
just
they have a
like
house team or was it a travel team?
So it was just like they just had a boys club league, and then when we got older, we kind of made it our own travel team through the boys club.
Sure.
Like they didn't have one yet, so we kind of just formed a team.
Put
of a
some
couple
players together.
guys,
Your
yeah.
dad probably helped that out. Now you
Yeah.
start going off on like the junior boys club tournament circuit, stuff like that. When did you realize that basketball was a thing that you do as a Kolek?
I don't know. I mean, growing up, I got to give a lot of credit to my dad and my brother. My brother was always older than me, so I was always playing up.
Yeah.
I played CYO. I played when I was in second grade, playing with fourth, fifth, sixth graders.
But you're walking in the gym in Rhode Island where your father's a legend and your brother's probably one of the best players in Rhode Island. Like, you must feel a little different, right? Like, you go to these little gyms, like, they know who you are,
Yeah.
right?
I mean now, but back then we go into the Pawtucket Boys and Girls or Pawtucket YMCA, Pawtucket Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him from Pawtucket. I mean that's
Sure.
where he's from. So they always tell me, he's a legend. And
Yeah.
I never really understood it until I got older. Really, I mean he still shoots it to this day.
But you knew that the name on the back of your jersey was something special and different than most kids in Rhode Island, right?
Yeah.
When did you realize that?
I mean probably high school. I mean you don't really appreciate it till
Sure.
you get older and you kind of
Yeah.
you kind of just appreciate everything that they've done for you, and then everybody else like guys like you telling me stories and everything like that, just really knowing.
Sure. Yeah. It's interesting. It's something, that we share with you guys, and probably one of the reasons why we're as close as we are. Did you play any other sports?
When I was growing up, I played football just till like fifth grade, and
Yeah.
then I played baseball. So funny story, baseball, I was in the middle school tryouts. This is my last time playing baseball. I was sixth grade. It was second cuts, and he walks in the gym. The tryouts were in the basketball gym. He walks in, he's like, we got AAU practice. You got to go. So we walked right out the gym. I never went back. I got cut right then that day. I never went back to baseball. I never went back to anything else.
Portuguese in Cumberland couldn't get you to play soccer a little bit? No, come on.
Now, and that's coming from a proud Portuguese dude right there. Now, similar story. Played baseball through eighth grade. Successful, pitching, I thought, in Little League Baseball at the park that we played at on Bedford Street in Florida, right near where Torres lives, was a crazy park. It was the poorest park in the city. There's no grass in the infield. It was a different experience. Surrounded by housing projects and Italian neighborhood. And I think the pitching there, being a pitcher and playing those crazy games with crazy parents, all the nonsense around us, being right on Bedford Street, which is probably the busiest street, or one of them in Florida, I think it made me, tough, and it helped me a little bit. But like you, after my freshman year, and we play Brockton, and we lose to Brockton in this. We lose to Brockton in the South Sectional Finals, which is the Final 8 for the state. And I have a great game. I have 30 points. And, I got that buzz of the crazy crowd in my ear. And I'm walking to baseball tryouts at North Park with my bat and my glove. And I get to the top of the hill. And I'm like, fuck this. And I just made that decision then and there. And I went to Feidelberg's backyard, where we used to play. And that was it. That was the end. That was the end of it for me. What was your life like growing up? What was your house like? Were there friends in and out? Was your dad's? Your dad's a police officer, right? Mm-hmm. Talk to me about what your house was like.
Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, I mean, so we'd always play like 2-on-2, 3-on-3 with his buddy. You know, I'm sure you know Boat,
Sure.
Trent,
Yeah.
all those guys playing, 2-on-2, 3-on-3. Abdullah.
Sure.
He played at Providence. It was just stuff like that. And then, me and my brother back, we fought in everything that we did. I mean, it was, we could be going out the door. Who wants to go out the door first? We're fucking butting heads and beating on each other. I mean,
Cool.
I got the butt of that most of the time. She was beating my ass a lot, and so
Take him now, though?
yeah, I'll take him now. He knows better. He knows better. He knows better than the fuck with me
I don't
now.
know about that. I'm from the older brother club. I'm going with the older brother.
You got to get that psychological advantage.
Relationship with your mother and father is what now? Are they trying to reel you in? Because let's face it, you're compassionate. As a young kid, like many young kids, you're very verbal, very competitive. Sometimes that metamorphosizes in different type of ways, right? How is your dad handling you as a young athlete? What's the relationship that he has with you in school, your behavior? What's his role? What's your mom's role?
Yeah, when we were younger, I mean, I was a little hothead. I mean, I had a little mouth on me, but always respectful. But sometimes I took it a little too far. I like to instigate. Like,
Do you remember a time where your dad like grabbed you and said, "Yo, you need to sit down and you're gonna listen this time"?
oh yeah, it was a bunch of times. I mean, we'd be running around the gym. He would have every night. My mom used to work nights. She was working at a restaurant. We'd be going to wherever he was playing in a men's league or whatever. And if we were just me and my brother messing around too much, It was actually one time. We were playing at the Boys and Girls Club. I was real young. I think I was telling him to put me back in the game. I don't remember how old I was, but he just kept sitting there, and then he just turns around the bench, grabs me by my shirt, and he always does this. He clenches his teeth, he's like, Tyler! That's what he does. That's what, he's
Can't have
mad.
people read your lips, right?
That's when he's mad. So he just pressed me up against the wall. I forget what he said, but I remember that. It was crazy.
Yeah, I imagine you being a handful.
Yeah.
No, did your brother have that same type of swag and same type of je ne sais quoi, that same type of mentality? Were you guys different that way?
No, definitely different.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm sure you and your younger brother are. I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm a little more competitive than he. He's definitely competitive, but I'm a little more on edge. He's kind of a nicer guy, like.
Sure.
But I mean, he's he works well in his way. I work well in my way, so it's never like.
There is a lot of thing they say with the greats, though. They hated losing from a very young age. Like even board games to like you said, first out the door or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like you show me someone that likes losing, I'll show you a loser, no matter what it is. And I
Let
think
me
that
tell you something, brothers and sisters. There was no competition trophies back then. All right? And my father told me something very smart. The bigger your trophy gets and the more points you score, the better looking your girlfriend gets. So that was the the motivation.
It helps if you're ugly, that's for sure.
When did you really get the basketball bug? Like, when did you really, really take that in and take that on?
Yeah, I mean, probably middle school. I mean, I was playing in 7 different leagues in the winter, and just playing with the RI Hawks. I'm sure you remember with Chris over there, Cole, my brother Thomas Murphy, all those guys.
A lot of good players on that team.
Justin Mazzulla was on that team.
Sure, yeah.
I think there was 8?
Was that Jay Elliott's team?
Yeah. What was there? 8 Division I guys?
How is Jay doing now? Is he doing okay now? Is he out? Is he involved?
He's out. So I haven't talked to him. But I think he's working at a pizza place. I think he's doing pretty good now.
Yeah. Because as flawed as that guy was, guys like that are important, right? I played for a guy like Jimmy Tavares. And there was some type of similarities, right? We're not going to get into that because this is not 60 Minutes, but, I played for that guy. And he only took Rhode Island guys, Southeastern Mass guys. He wasn't this pig who would grab people from all over the place. Scott Ashworth, Jake, right?
Yep.
His father, Roger Lewis, Donna Lessa, myself, Brian, all those guys, they all played. And it was a great thing because you broaden your friendships and your circle and your horizons a little bit, and you start meeting people from other towns, and a lot of those guys who did it the right way from a basketball point, and I think that Tavares did do that way from a basketball point. maybe missed today. I think more of it's about let me grab all the best players, let me see what I can do, let me put the super squad together. So yeah,
It's like that in the pros too. A lot of times.
Yeah, exactly, and it, it's I get an insurance call that I'm gonna get back to. Which basketball player did you look up to as a kid?
I don't know. I mean, I always watched the Celtics. You know, I love Paul Pierce, love KG, Rondo, Ray Allen. I mean, that was kind of when I was growing up. You know, when they won that championship in '08.
Sure.
Just kind of that group.
Well, so you didn't foresee yourself. You didn't look on TV and say he kind of looks like me a little bit. I want to play like him a little bit.
No, I mean, I never really thought like that. I mean, like when I was growing up, we always talk about going to the.
You never watched Jason Williams and said, that might be me.
We all did that. Watching Jason Williams. I know when Jordan was dunking.
That motherfucker was must-see TV.
He was.
I was probably a little young for him.
I'm dating myself, Kev, again, huh?
It was my era when the you could lower the rims. Yeah. So we used to just lower the rims and try and dunk on each other. Like, we weren't playing basketball.
Trust and believe. You got a little Jason Williams in you, and you got a little Goran Dragic.
You stole my question.
I did.
I wanted to ask you that.
We'll get. Would you agree with that, Kev?
I was gonna say,
like Dragic and Jay Will in him. You like that?
What player do you see yourself like NBA player playing now? Do you kind of like not see your game after, but see a little bit of your game?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say Dragic. I mean,
see, I told that the other day.
People, so there was this edit that somebody put together of like me and Dragic. So it was like a play of him and then a play of me. It was like back and forth. So it was kind of pretty cool.
Honestly, I never watched you play before the other night, and we were on the phone the whole game almost. Like your hesitation, kind of like letting people just kind of flow by, and you're kind of just there, and then boop.
It's crafty. He's got some wiggle in his game. You know, Broderick was playing professional, was 15, 16 years old out there. I mean, this guy was a legend long before he came to the NBA. But when you go through the NBA process, you know, and from my experience with my brothers and some other people, like one of the biggest things that they do when they decide to is who do you remind them of? Yeah. Right, Kev? Like that, like what prototype, what body type.
Well, you can find that in the magazines. All the scouts on the
they do it pre-draft. Right when you get picked, they do your comparison of who they think.
Yeah, this styles. But I'm talking about the coaches. Like he's got a little Dragic in his game. He's got a little this, got a little of that. They want to see that because that's the proration of the years going by. Okay, now let's get to high school where it gets a little serious, right?
Yeah.
Do you start as a freshman?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Your brother's a junior.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your first high school game. I slept in my uniform before my first high school game. Under the covers, Durfee 24. Okay. I'm sleeping in my uniform like this here. And Mr. Karam, have you ever met Coach Karam?
No, I don't think so.
You should. Kevin's met him 100 times, right? Good character, right? I say this. Bobby Hurley won 14 state championships at Jersey City, St. Anthony's. He had players from all over the country playing for him, right? They won 14 state championships. Probably coached 20 pros from Bobby Hurley and Roderick Rhodes and Walker to De Gea. And where can I start and end, right? So I say, well, maybe my high school basketball should be in the Hall of Fame because he coached kids from one city, all white, a non-traditional basketball team, right? Wins 5 state championships, gets 700-something wins, and goes undefeated 4 out of 5 of those championships. What, in reality, is really a better accomplishment, right?
That's like my Ronaldo Messi argument.
I mean, you can really talk like that. So, you and your brother, freshman, boom. Are you nervous for your first game? Is it a big day in a Kolek household? I mean, it's a father's dream. Both watching the kids play, both Fozzie basketball players. One a freshman, one's a junior. The 2 best players on the team. Talk about those days.
Yeah, we played together in middle school. He was in 8th grade. I was in 6th grade. You know, when we were we weren't very good. You know, my freshman year. So you're saying my first game, actually my first shot. So we were playing against Ryan Yankee. I don't know if you know his dad. Was it Paul Yankee? Paul Yankee. Yeah. But so we were playing against him in Johnson High School. I went up for a 3. First shot was blocked. They came down and got a dunk on the other end. But so that was a fun experience. But I mean, I don't know. We weren't very good that year. We were actually better my second year. So my sophomore year, we played. I actually had knee surgery that summer. So freshman year summer, I had knee surgery going into sophomore year, and then we had actually won the state championship that year. So we were better, the second time around. But we always butted heads. I remember there was a game early on, my sophomore year. We played at St. Ray's, his old alma mater.
A big hoop tradition there. People don't realize that. That's like an undertold story of basketball in New England. Like St. Ray's don't get enough respect.
Oh yeah,
and how many high schools in Pawtucket, Kev? And that's crazy. I mean, if all you guys went to the same school, forget about it, right? That's crazy. I'm going to talk to your dad about the tradition about Pawtucket basketball. But go ahead, you're at St. Ray's. What happened?
Yeah, so my brother, he doing whatever he's doing, and he actually rips his jersey mid-game. We're down like 25, rips his jersey like halfway down, whatever. I remember getting back home, my mom saying, "Oh, you need to help your brother on the court." He's like, he needs some help, like, and that kind of was like. She's never said something to me like that before. I was like, that's my mom saying that. Like,
it's probably good that she didn't say that too many times because it probably would have lost its effect, right?
Oh yeah, that's what So one thing about my parents, they never said anything negative about basketball. So it was always,
Really? So you guys never went out on the ride home?
So he never on the ride home. He would not say a thing to me.
Oh.
He would say right after the game, I could see it on his face. He would say either "good game." I played all right, or "great job, man." Great. That's when you played really good, or like
really
good win, or he'll say "good win" or "tough one." Good win is like you didn't play that good, you still won. Tough one is like you didn't play good, you lost. So it's like, but he never he never yelled, and that's something I really appreciate to this day. I always talk about.
Because there's one thing yelling during a game. I know your father would never do that, right? Nobody wants that type of to be subjected like that. But usually, with the responsible parents, usually it goes down in the ride home. But for you guys had a clean ride home, Kev?
Yeah.
That's it.
He knows if you play good or bad.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, no, I hear you.
Most of the time,
sure.
I don't have much. I'll say something here or there or play. But most of the time, he's playing good or doing stuff that even if you miss a shot or something, you can't control that.
Yep.
Sure. He's playing hard and making the right play. So.
What's your best memory with you and your brother playing together in high school?
Probably winning the state championship. We were at CCRI. We had just, that was the last game we were gonna we won that, and then we played in the open tournament in Rhode Island. That's what they
Which
do.
I like. I like that how it's fragmented like that.
Yeah, no, I like that too. So that was probably the best memory. Just winning with him, and then my other best friend from high school, Jackson Zay. He plays at UMass Dartmouth now for BAP. So it was us three, and that was probably the best.
I remember my nephew having 103 fever. And me going to the house at 10 o'clock in the morning. Do you remember that? Yeah. He missed that game that was the state finals against, they probably would have got blown out. They were going to play Hendricken, I think, right? Yeah, and he didn't play. And there was a line around the building. And then people are calling me saying he's not playing. And I guess the jungle drum was beating loud. And he did it. My brother made him go up and down the court twice. Yeah. And he couldn't even do it.
We played against him, Chris, freshman year, right? My freshman year?
At Cumberland.
Was it at Cumberland or was it at?
No, I went to go see that game at Cumberland. I don't remember who won or lost, but
I think it was at Portsmouth.
Chris probably stayed a couple of years.
Chris played Brandon before at Cumberland, probably not. I probably was on that team.
You're right.
I probably was on. I think we played at Portsmouth against. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the outcome of that?
I don't even remember, honestly.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it was your freshman year.
Yeah.
He actually went to another school. Your freshman year.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Now, when did you realize, with your potential, right, that Cumberland High School is too small for you? Who made that decision? When was it made? And how did you feel about it? The good and the bad about it. Let's talk about that.
We were kind of shopping around after my sophomore year.
So you knew it was inevitable, right?
Yeah,
that was the year after you won.
Yeah, you almost have to do it nowadays.
Yeah,
public school wasn't like back when you played. You could, you went right to Boston College right out of high school, and it's not like
I should have went to PG, but I didn't. But you're right.
Yeah, but even then, nobody was going to prep school back then. They would do a post grad year, but they wouldn't repeat right in the middle of high school.
There was two kids. When you look at my year, right, they call it the golden era of Massachusetts basketball, right? public school, Lloyd Mumford, Villanova, Trent Forbes, PC, Billy Curley, BC, me, BC, Billy Brigham, George Washington, big time schools. The kid by the name of Troy Brown, who played a power forward. You remember him, Kev? Troy Brown from Lynn. Yeah. Okay? He went to Governor Dummer, right? And it was a kid by the name of Mark Herren, who went to Syracuse or Rutgers, I believe. And he went to Thayer, I believe. But not many of them. So you're looking at maybe 5% of the talent was there. But the majority of it was still in high school. So you're doing your prep school things. Who are you thinking about? You must be thinking about St. Andrews, right? You must be thinking about maybe Tabor. I mean, how did you get to St. George's? Was it Coach Pina?
I mean, honestly, that was the only school that I'd gotten into.
Really?
So Coach Pina, I visited them. But, I visited Milton Academy. St. Andrews, we probably weren't going to get enough money from them. I mean, and then it was Brooks, the Brooks School.
Sure.
I didn't get into there. But, and then I got into St. George's, so, I figured, before that, it wasn't really, I think they won three games the year before.
Oh, yeah. And then, I knew, knowing him and his hustle, walk on in the Big East, blah, blah, blah. I knew that he was going to make noise. I didn't realize the noise he would make, but I knew that things were going to change, especially when he got So, how does he recruit you? What's he say to you?
He just came to a few high school games, and then actually going back, but before that, you were talking about my potential and when I really knew. I thought I was going to play Division III college basketball up until even after my sophomore year of high school.
Sure.
So I was like, oh.
Who was the first one to tell you differently?
So I mean, I don't know. So my sophomore year, I was getting so I played AAU, spring AAU, summer AAU. Probably the end of summer AAU was really like, all right, maybe I can play Division I basketball. But I mean, I had knee surgery, and then
we're going to talk about the Millisec Magic. It's the next question that I have, right? So you go to St. George's, right? Okay, the St. George's experience, right? You come from Cumberland. You're talking about one of the most elite and prestigious prep schools in the world. You're in the swanky part of Newport. You're going to classes in castles. You're from, am I lying?
No. The chapel, you look at it from the beach, it looks like a little castle.
They threw my brother off the campus at St. George's because of a quarry check or some bullshit. Like when he just started speaking, I guess he couldn't speak there or something crazy. I mean, this place is no joke.
Really?
Yeah, this place is no joke. Talk to me about, do you look around and say, oh, well, these people around here are a little different?
I mean,
my parents are blue collar. I'm about my father's from Pawtucket. I grew up in Cumberland. These kids growing up in Dubai and in Westwood, California. And talk to me about that.
I mean, there's a lot of different types of people. I mean, anywhere you go though, outside of your little bubble, there's going to be different types of people. And it was good to branch out.
Now, are you living there or a community?
Yeah. So I lived there.
Okay, so you're a young man. How old are you?
I'm 21 now.
All right, but how old were you then when you go there?
I was 16.
All right, so you're 16, you're leaving home.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Oh, yeah, it's a big deal. Let's talk about that. So talk about, your first night there. You ever get homesick? You ever cry? You ever say, what the fuck am I doing here? I want to be back with my homeboys playing in Cumberland. I can lead them to a state championship. I'm good enough. Talk to me.
I never felt like it was too far to where I was kind of, missing home. Because I would be back and forth, on the weekends and stuff like that. So it was never anything like that. But, just playing, because I was so focused at that point. I mean, every night I was in the...
But you got to get yourself up in the morning, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you grew up with comforts of your mom and dad and your brother around. And now at 16, that's a lot,
No,
right?
it is. It is, but the great support around there. I mean, I had guys like CJ Ward. I mean, if I was talking to him, it was just it's like family. I mean, now, I mean, people from there. I talked to Coach Pina earlier today. I talked to it was like family over there. So I kind of built an atmosphere around me that really benefited me.
So when did you start seeing success? And give me the game that you remember that you really blew up at St. George's, that you started getting recruited a little differently, right? Like talk to me about that. Talk to me about Coach Peanut building a successful team, and when did you say, oh, okay, I made the right decision coming here. We can beat some teams.
Yeah. It was probably, so I had, we played, I think the Brooks school.
Yeah.
I think I had like 17 in the first half.
They played defense like a mofo.
Yeah,
that coach was brilliant.
They were good.
That's Jeff Constantine, my brother. He said some nice things about my nephew.
Yeah.
My nephew had like 20-some against him. It's the first time that somebody had scored it all year.
They hadn't lost a league game in probably 4 years.
Sure, yeah.
We're up 8 on them. I come down and roll my ankle.
That's right.
And
I'm
out for like I'm out for like 4 or 5 games. And we come back and we play Holderness with like there's one coach in the gym. It was William and Mary. And
right now you're like Colonial League level.
Yeah. I think all I had was Bryant, and then maybe I had like BU.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Holy Cross was sniffing around.
Yeah. There you go.
Maybe Brown.
Sure.
But then so I think I had like 45 on Holderness, and then. I just taking off from there. I think I got George Mason later on that year.
Sure.
St. Bonaventure.
So as you guys continue rolling, you continue to play well, right?
Yeah.
Now, what are you doing for games? Break down your stat line and your numbers at St. George's.
I was doing probably 20, 27 and 7. Like
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't like I was putting up 30, 10 and 10.
No, the prep school's very.
It's so different.
It's different then. Yeah, it's much
like
much
in
different.
high school. My junior year in high school at Cumberland, I was leading the state in scoring 25 a game.
Yeah.
But prep school is definitely different.
Sure.
Different game. I mean,
different game. The coaches are more prepared.
Yeah.
You're
not just going up and down. You're running plays.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And you got some players around you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When did the help come? How many recruits that came in with you played your last year there? Was there many, or did they come a year? I think they came like afterwards, right?
So who came in with me was me and Dami Mello from the
Wareham.
Yeah, Wareham.
Yeah.
And
Who's
then,
at Sacred Heart right now?
Yep. Another Division I guy, and there was another kid that was there before was Sam Medusa. He's at Brandeis
I remember
now.
Sam. Yeah.
He's good, athletic, strong.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a 3-headed monster there, and then they had two bigger twins.
The kid Sam was from Dartmouth, right?
No, he's from like the Worcester area.
Okay, yeah.
So it was kind of us 3, and then that was my junior year, and then my senior year we'd gotten the kid Taylor Bowen, who's going to Florida State now, 4-star kid. But he was young. It's hard to play at that level as a young kid. You kind of got to be a little older. The guys are a little more mature.
Sure. Yeah, and they're there because of basketball players.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Throughout your career at St. George's, right? Now, your senior year at St. George's, your last year, right? What do you guys do? Did you guys win anything? You guys won the title, right? Was that the year that?
Yeah, so we won our league title, the ISL title. We split actually with Brooks School. We lost, I think, we lose 3 games at? We lost 27-3. We lost to New Hampton. We should have beat them. We lost.
Which schools were recruiting you on your last day at St. George's? Last game. Who's knocking on the door?
So I committed before my senior year at St. George's.
Yeah. As I did to BC.
It's actually funny.
Which was a mistake.
It's actually funny. So URI had never talked to me. Not one. They didn't talk to me. Not one time.
I saw on Twitter after I watched the game, I kind of did some sniffing around, and there was a lot of complaining about like PC couldn't get this kid.
We're gonna get to that.
How did URI miss this kid?
I don't want to incriminate anybody, but no. So URI had.
But let me tell you something. That must piss you off.
Oh man,
I
committed, and they came that day after I committed to come see me, but they were really coming to see the kid Taylor Bowen. He told me the day before. Coach Peanut told me, URI is coming tomorrow. I'm like, fuck them. Like I'm committing. I'm already committing.
I
like,
be honest.
I
love that.
They're 20 minutes away from me, and they can't come see me play not one time.
All these geniuses on the basketball staff, right? Head coach making $500,000 a year, 3 or 4 assistants. Their alumni are all in their business. They got guys like Kevin Whiting and these guys watching kids all over the place. You know what I mean? And like, How do they miss? I can't get it wrong. I can't figure it out.
And I had 3 offers in that league. I mean, at George Mason, where I went first, St. Bonaventure, and Richmond. And so it wasn't like other people in that league. It wasn't like
better than them.
It wasn't like they would be the first person to offer me in that league.
Because usually what happens is when you go up the recruiting pool, once one team bites,
they all do.
2 or 3 stop biting, right?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, you never want to miss out. Like if Alabama has a recruit on their back door and Saban misses Alabama, like that's a huge loss for them. But at least they tried.
A lot of coaches in basketball, and Kevin will tell you this, and they'll tell you, they don't want to take local guys because with local guys they think comes problems, pressure for playing time, fans in the stands. You know what I mean? So a lot of people really shy away. It's happened. It is not unique to this young man. You know what I mean? And let's talk about people missing, right? How many missed on Brady? The kid Purdy, Brock Purdy from the 49ers, Mr. Irrelevant.
Oh, yeah, there's 1,000
You
stories about
got
that.
32 general managers, 32 resource directors, 33 talent evaluators, 32 general managers, 32 head coaches, 32 coordinators, and legions of scouts. And this kid's the MVP of the Fiesta Bowl, which is a major bowl, and gets it done in a big-time conference like the Big 12, and 180 people, 200-some people get drafted for him. Like they miss. You know,
they missed at Michigan because they had other people playing quarterback while he was there.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it happens. Let's talk about your AAU experience with Middlesex. That's when I saw you really starting to do things against the upper echelon, sneaker teams, right? We call them. You play for how would you talk Middlesex Magic compared to the sneaker team? Because you guys would beat them. You beat them here and there. I mean, they would beat you most of the time. Is that how it went down?
No, I mean, so my first junior year, we went 20-1 in the summer. The only team we lost to was Expressions at Spooky Nook in overtime. We played the family with Isaiah Jackson and a bunch of.
But you're not on the EYBL circuit.
No,
right?
so back then we were on Hoop Group, but we played. You know, in the summer it was different. There was only one weekend of Peach Jam. There wasn't. You know, so they were all going to the Hoop Group tournaments. They were all,
No, they play in the sub tournaments.
Now they don't really play in those tournaments anymore because there's more spread out. But back then, so
now they go all the way to Atlanta to play a team that's half an hour away from them.
Yeah,
which fucking blows my mind.
That's what we played. Our Final Four. It was at the Hoop Group in Spooky Nook in Pennsylvania. It was us, Expressions. It was us two playing, and then it was Metro Boston, and then it was somebody else. But us and Expressions were in the championship game. We're like,
blows my mind.
Let's drive 6 hours back and play tomorrow.
I mean, why can't we rent out UMass Boston and we do this right here every weekend, right? And then the bullshit, Kev, right? It's crazy. Okay. Your last year at Middlesex, the big man comes to me. I go to your father and say, what's up with Kolek? I said, Leo called. He wants you to come play for BABC because I was telling him that he's missing a boat. And then finally, you know.
It was after the Herren shootout.
Was it really?
When we played you guys, when we played BABC and beat them.
Yeah. Was that the time? Was that the time he tried to cheat with the clock? Oh, I mean, what's that we talking about?
I don't know.
Kev, don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about, Kevin.
You come out of the woodwork screaming, "Boy, stop the clock!"
That's right. Now listen. Does your father talk to you about making that move, or are you aware? And most kids probably would have done it, right?
I mean, I had them coming around. I had Expressions too.
But BABC's got they got a lot more pros, right? And they're a little more national champions. It's a little different, right?
Yeah.
Kev, I mean, do you give it a second thought or no?
I mean, we mentioned it. We never really talked about it much, just because we're in such a great position with Middlesex Magic. Those guys over there just kind of gave me the keys, and
But do you think if you would have done what you did with the Magic at EYBL, that the big time schools would have been knocking on your door?
I mean, I never like to say what if,
I know,
but it's like, I mean, obviously much more coaches were the bigger time coaches were coming to those games, but we were also getting, we had Notre Dame at our games.
Yeah,
we had, and so I mean, we had some big time coaches, and
Sure.
but maybe if we were playing, like I said, that year, the year after. It changed, so we went to those camps. There was like the NCAA Academy camps.
Sure.
That was my last year, so we weren't playing a lot of the sneaker teams and drawing the other coaches that were coming to see the guys I was playing against.
Yeah.
That's what would have helped me out playing against some higher level guys
who are bringing the coaches,
to now watch me go against them.
Yeah.
And
that's an opportunity for every underdog out there.
Because I was kind of on that hoop group circuit.
Opportunity. Yeah.
On the hoop group circuit, I was kind of the ticket that people were coming to watch. The coaches were coming to watch.
Yeah, of course.
So it wasn't like other coaches were drawing in to watch other people, and then they would see me. So that would probably be the one thing that I would say.
So you go to George Mason. Let's talk about that. Why George Mason?
Yeah, I mean it was. I had a Final Five. It was George Mason, Vermont, Elon, Northeastern, and Holy Cross. And so I mean I thought Holy Cross and Northeastern and Vermont maybe a little. I wanted something a little higher than that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Elon.
Well, Vermont has a great atmosphere.
Yeah. No, they have a great tradition of basketball. They win a lot of games.
They do. They beat Syracuse in the first round. But I get what you're saying. You're in the Atlantic 10.
Yeah, they go to the tournament a lot.
Sure,
I mean, they probably have a better chance of going to the tournament every year than George Mason does.
Yeah, Burlington's a great city too.
Yeah. We went up there and visited. It was great. But I mean, so the guy Dave Paulson, who was the head coach at George Mason, actually coached Mike Crotty, who was the coach of Middlesex Magic.
Sure.
At Williams, and they actually had won a national championship, Division III. So there was a connection right there, and just the opportunity and the path to play. That was the biggest thing for me. I mean, I've never sat in my life. I've only never started 3 games.
Sure.
My freshman year, I didn't start the first 3 games.
I don't think sitting would suit you well.
Yeah, that's like I would sit there and just be.
Yeah, but that goes back to what he was saying, like first one out the door. You
You
want to be able to compete, not watching other people. I respect the hell out of it.
Yeah, of course.
I really do.
And that's what makes them special. So you're there, right? You're doing your thing. Is this COVID time?
Yep, that's the COVID year.
What was playing college sports during the COVID like? What was your experience?
I mean, honestly, it was easy. There's no, you're not going to classes. You're taking all online classes.
Yeah.
We didn't go in the summer, so that was kind of the hard part. We weren't there till September, right when school started. So we didn't have the summer sessions to prepare. But I mean, there was no fans. There's not as much pressure. I mean, now I'm playing in front of 16,000 people. I mean, you can say it doesn't affect you, but it's different.
Yeah, but I saw and again, I never watched you play, but I saw the other night. I saw you kind of feeding off that.
Oh, he does.
So without fans, sometimes people like that spark to kind of get them going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm surprised that he said that. That he said that.
No, I definitely like the crowd to get me going, getting into it. But playing in an atmosphere like Providence is different. You can go on the road and get somebody if the place is just your team versus them. There's no crowd. There's dead.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
It's dead. There's no cool. He can't turn around and wave his hands up like this and get the crowd going. He's going like that to 3 parents in the front row.
Of course. Yeah,
and they're gonna start clapping. You barely hear them. But so it was easier in that sense. Whereas you can go on the road. You're not having to deal with all the other stuff and everything like that.
Are you nervous your first day of practice? Does the coach hand you the ball right away? Where were you on the pecking order when you step on that campus?
Yeah, so I mean, I wasn't, they actually they did this thing before the season, like, write this down, how many minutes a game you think you should be playing, and then he went over like, there's, I don't know, 400 minutes in a game or whatever, and and then we had a one-on-one meeting about it, and he's like, yeah, I thought, you should be playing. I put down 20 minutes a game, and he's like, yeah, I think you're about right, like 15 to 20 minutes a game, da da da. And so, I wasn't, and I remember I got into practice and I was playing and I was throwing the ball around, playing the point. And he says, we didn't bring you here to pass the ball. We brought you here to shoot. So then, that kind of flipped my mindset. I'm shooting everything now. And so I was just out there. I was kind of like just a scorer, just shooting anything. I mean, so that my aggressiveness kind of helped me in confidence. you know, I was a lot more confident than a lot of people as a freshman.
So much more confident probably walking into Marquette because of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you leave?
So the coach got fired.
Okay.
And then
That's a great reason.
yeah. So I mean, and I got the rookie of the year in the league.
I know you did, yeah.
So I felt like, you know, I'd have some opportunities to, you know.
Was the transfer portal there, or was it no transfer portal? You just had to try?
Yeah. No, it was a portal.
was a
So
portal.
I got into the portal. And then, you know, they actually hired a new coach, Kim English. So I was contemplating going back there, contemplating, you know, it was them, Oklahoma, Penn State, and then, you know, Providence kind of got in a little bit late. Because actually what happened, the kid Noah Locke, who's there now,
Yeah.
he was transferring in the first place to somewhere else. And so they wanted him first. And I was kind of their secondary guy or whatever.
Sure.
And then
How'd you know that?
you kind of just figure it out because then, you know, the last week that I'm coming to commit,
Sure.
he commits somewhere else. So I see that on Twitter, start calling my phone. It's
Yeah, it
blowing
goes.
up again.
Yeah.
It's there it goes. So it's
If
just
you,
funny how
if
it
you
works.
know the system, it's
Like a girl that
wants
wants to date you but doesn't want to date you. She's not returning your text right away.
and then she doesn't get him, and then now she's coming back to her second.
And that's not the one you want.
Yeah.
Right there. That's not the Okay. So you got the offer from PC, you got the offer from Marquette, right?
Yep.
You got Oklahoma,
Yep.
right? Why no to PC? Because they come in late to the party?
I mean that, and just, you know, a little bit of you know, out of high school, not thinking I was good enough either. I mean,
Sure.
you know, I always have that, you know, that same competitive mindset. You
Did
know?
anybody try to talk you out of that? Did anybody try to say what type of star and what type of legacy you could have if you were playing home? Because I'll tell you something right now. URI and PC fucked up. Because they would have a face in their program that could take it around here for as far as exposure-wise to an entirely different level. Yeah. But with that being said, you know, Eddie's doing a great job there, and I think he'll continue to it. Do you think long and hard on Providence? Or you just like, fuck it, man, you know?
I didn't think too long on it. I mean, Coach Cooley was great. I mean, he's super. You know, we got on a Zoom.
Coaches out there, remember this. Remember that guy that you might overlook that keeps that keeps showing out, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Don't be too fickle out there. Yeah. So go ahead, Coach Cooley was great.
No, we got on a few Zooms, and you know, he was trying to sell me the same thing that, you know, being the local kid,
sure.
You know,
yeah.
All the fans around here, you know,
sure.
building my brand with the NIL stuff
yeah,
like that. And, you know, that was definitely intriguing and stuff like that. But, you know, I just wanted somebody that really was down for me. And, you know, like you saying, you know, you want the girl that's down for you.
Sure.
So it's like, and that's what I felt like in my first time around going to George Mason. I was the head coach's guy. So that's why you get a little more leash. If you're you know, the second assistant's guy, he recruited you, so it's him and the head coach.
That's exactly what happened to my brother at BC.
Yeah, then you're not the guy.
My nephew, excuse me.
You're not the head coach's guy, so
sure.
you got a little less leash if you're that. Whereas at George Mason, maybe I make a mistake, but the head coach wants to be right.
That's a great point. I just watched that Kurt Warner movie, and when what's his name took over, Dick Vermeil left, and the other guy took over. And it was like, didn't really want Kurt Warner because it wasn't his guy, you know? And so the second that happened, I mean, that's a great point right there.
I don't want Kurt Warner, although he's taking every fucking record in the world, because I am Mr. fucking Ego, and I'm going to, you know, do RPO.
But I think
no, you're right.
That's more of an advice, I think, to kids playing out there.
No, I know, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
than to actual coaches and all that stuff. I think that's great.
I'm a firm believer. I don't believe in this coaching centric, I do it my way bullshit. I think the best way to coach and deal with people is adapt to adjust to their strengths, put people in places where they can be successful with the basketball, you know, and ask for them to do things that they're capable of doing. I don't think basketball is a game that works best when it's overmanaged. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Like calling a timeout at the end, or like a set play game. Like,
no,
but I mean, it's kind of the same idea.
I'm talking like a philosophy. Like some guys, if they run the flex, which is like, if I had a kid, I would never let him play for a team that has a flex.
Well, Princeton. What was it? Princeton had the backdoor cuts.
It just takes the creativity out of it.
Yeah,
right,
you almost become like a robot. You're just playing into a system. There's no freedom.
There is, and I don't think it wasn't suited for me, or You know, and I don't think it would have been true to field. So you go to Marquette, right? You say no to Providence. What's your dad saying to you? What's your brother telling you? Are they in your ear about Providence? Are they in your ear about Marquette? Or, I mean, what are you hearing?
I mean, my dad, I think he was pretty set on Marquette. You know, he loved those guys. He loved, you know, the way how they were.
My brother loves
me.
them too.
Yeah. I mean, just the way he was recruiting me. Like I said, I was gonna come in there. You know, it was an assistant coach named Cody Hatt. He did a great job. But my first call, I actually have a picture. It was my birthday. A family picture, you know, I'm on the phone with Coach Smart. It's the first time he called me, and it's like 30 people around in the picture, and I'm on the phone with him right there. And so he was the first one to call me from the staff at Marquette, and, you know, he was the one to stay on me the whole way. And
Here's the million-dollar question. How did he find out about you? Yeah, is it the research and they're watching tapes of everybody that in the transfer portal and they say we like this kid, or does a little birdie fly on
it's a lot of word of mouth. So, so a coach by the name of Pete Hutchinson, he was at New Hampton School, and then he was at Dartmouth, and then he was an assistant coach at George Mason.
Sure.
And so the guy Cody Hatt was he was a head coach at Vermont Academy.
Sure.
So they played against each other. They're good friends. So the guy Pete Hutchinson had left George Mason, and then he had told Coach Hatt that, you know, you got to look at this kid or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of how it works. You know,
of course.
friends of coaches in the industry, they know guys, and then they watch my film after they said it, and then, you know, they go from there.
But to Kashaka, young, hot commodity, had success at Texas. I don't know why they got rid of him, but they do. This Marquette's game, he hands you the ball. That doesn't happen to everybody.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
I mean, they always tell me, like, they thought I was going to come in there, be one of their, like, lead scorers and just, you know, play off the ball. And
well, you're going to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm playing.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I mean, I'm on the ball. I'm on the ball. I mean, I probably have the ball almost
there's no
90% of the time in those games. And, you know, so I come right in and kind of just, you know, it's like that confidence that we were saying, confidence from George Mason, and kind of just, you know, being me, playing my game. And, you know, I come in there and start slinging it around, passing everybody, making plays, and you know, they liked it. So
now you have a good year. The team achieves, right? You guys were ranked nationally for most of your freshman year, right? For the most part?
Yeah, we were probably 4 weeks we were ranked. I mean, we were picked 9th in the league, so we weren't picked to do shit.
But your expectations your first year were greater than the expectations this year, right? I think this year you guys kind of came out of nowhere. You only have 2 returning starters, am I right?
We were picked the same. We were picked the same. 9th again. 9th the year before, 9th again this year. I mean, the year before they hadn't thought. So he's actually my roommate. He's on a two-way with the Bulls now. Justin Lewis. He was a freshman. He averaged 8 points a game, whatever. Came back sophomore year, 16 a game.
Sure, yeah.
They can't really project out, you know, who's gonna do what. You know, we got a guy Cam Jones. He averaged 6 points a game his freshman year. Now he's averaging 16. Another kid averaged 6 points a game last year. Now he's averaging 15. So it's like
one thing that Coach Pitino was amazing at was developing talent in house, right? I mean, turning Billy Donovan around, Sendek around, Conlin, all those guys. And I'm a believer in that.
It's a lost art now. Everybody hits the court.
Everybody wants the prettiest girl, right? Yeah. Fuck all that. All that attention. Get in the gym with your own guys.
We took one transfer this year, and he actually...
You ever talk to Billy Donovan?
So him and Coach Smart are actually really good friends.
Sure.
You know, I've never talked one-on-one with him.
Billy's a good guy. He was my coach at 5-star. Billy's a good guy. And he would appreciate how you play the game. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. For sure.
We went down there and actually watched them practice, the Bulls practice and stuff like that.
Billy's a good man. And what a reformation job he did. Because he was a solid high school basketball player coming out of New York with a pretty big reputation, but went to PC and got caught up in it, gained a lot of weight, right? And then when Coach Pitino comes in, put them track shoes on because that's what's going to happen. And you don't understand the magnitude of Coach Pitino for all of his flaws, right? When I was growing up, your father's already in college, he was the most sought-after speaker out of any sport coach in the world. He was writing best-selling books on the New York Times best-selling list. He was talking about surviving success before people even knew what it was. You know what I mean? Transforming the game. He's the one that indoctrinated the three-pointer into the game. He'll never get the credit, but he did. You know, his pressure philosophy didn't really stay with him as much in analytics. And I'll never forget him telling me, and this is before anybody knew what analytics was. He said, Mike, think about the math. We're at 5-star, right? And because he had strong connections to Fall River locally, he would kind of keep an eye on me. They were recruiting me, but they keep an eye on me from afar. But, you know, late at night, you break down, I'm sitting there. We used to have a situation tournament at 5-star. You ever do those things where there's like 6 categories. You're up 3 with 13 seconds to go. Then you're down 3 with 13 seconds to go. Then you're up 6 with 1:47 to go. But, you know, they're in a bonus. And we used to play that all night. It was like a big deal at 5-star. And he says, think about it. He goes, if you shoot 40% from the field, right, 10 shots, 8 points. If you shoot 30% from 3, you make 3, it's 9. And I remember him like drilling that into me. And I didn't understand it until like you talk about. I understood it, and it was so simple.
I can picture the guy from The Hangover with all the numbers flying in the back.
No. I mean, the numbers were simple enough, but I was like, okay, like how come not everybody else is thinking like this, right? Because it did make sense, but basketball was an entirely different game back then. Like you got 7-footers now that aren't even getting recruited by big time schools because it doesn't fit the way they play. Whereas if you're a 7-footer, you were automatically going to a Power 5 conference, whether you sucked or not. And that kid Dickinson, right? Perfect example. I mean, he didn't suck, but he would.
Right. He could play. He was actually a little bit.
He was 7'2".
He was a 7-footer that could shoot threes.
Yeah, he was on the thing, but I don't know if he would be recruited. The way they used him at Seton Hall. They would never use, like, it was all about getting to the guy with his back to the basket, starting inside and working outside. And the game's changed. And I think for the better.
Yeah. A great example today, the guy Zach Edey from Purdue. He's 7'4". He's a beast. We say 12, 15 years ago, he would have been a top 5 draft pick.
Sure.
Now he's not even going to get drafted. All those guys.
And the guy Gaza from Purdue before him, right?
He would have been
player of the year.
He would have been top 5 draft pick back in the day, but
now it's a different game.
Yeah.
But that's good for you. Okay. So Marquette, you guys are off to a good start. You lead the country in assists. The jungle drum starts beating. Tyler's not shooting the ball enough. Torres, this one, that one. You know how it goes, right? Game before Providence, you shoot the ball how many times?
I looked that up too.
I don't know, maybe. I think
Was
9 times. 9
Was there a
times.
6-shot attempt game or something like that?
It was 9 times. 9
5?
times.
No, I stalked him the other day.
It was 9.
I think he only shot over 10 times, twice all year, and then there was like I think 11 or
Yeah, because I
11 was
asked
the
you
most.
into that for
Yeah.
Okay. There's a rhythm and rhyme that only basketball players know, and we talked about that when we talked before the game. Are you comfortable taking 5-6 shots a game? Or are you too comfortable doing it? Or should it be more, do you think?
I mean, I just want to take what the game gives me. I mean, I'm not trying to.
Tyler. The game needs you to be you, right? And to do what you've done your whole life, right? We talked before the Providence game. You had a little more sense of urgency. That's a better representation of the Tyler Kolek that I know. Yeah, I know. Yes or no? Good, Dad? If you don't agree, if you don't agree with me, just, you can say it here. We're going to agree with one another. You know, I mean, I think that you have to be super aggressive and forcing your will on people. I think that fits your personality type, right? I think that fits your game right. And I think the way your team is structured here, I think that's what you guys got to do to be at your maximum effectiveness. Somebody tell me I'm wrong here.
We talked about this the other day. We were on the phone watching the game.
But I want you guys to say, hey, well, maybe, you know, maybe you should stay within the framework of the offense and let it come to him. What do you think? I think he's a 20-point a night guy. Kevin, what do you think?
I think he's gonna do what the coaches tell him.
Come on, Kevin. Come on. They're not watching.
We're on the Cincinnati. We're on the Cincinnati.
We're not on 60 Minutes here, man.
Who are you guys playing next?
Seton Hall.
We're on the Seton Hall.
Now listen.
Good answer.
Basketball game comes, it's not a good answer. It's not a good answer.
Not for us.
Basketball, no, not to anybody, okay? Because he's going to be a pro. And like we told him, do you want to be cashing checks from the New York Knicks for a couple million, or do you want to be in Germany, making $200,000?
There's a point to that,
Okay,
too.
you have an opportunity in front of you to be the face of college basketball next year, like my brother was. They identify certain players and they just run them through everything. And I've bet 5 to 6 people online in the last 24 hours that you're going to be a first-round draft pick. And I firmly believe that. And I think your father believes it in his heart of hearts. And I think your man believes it in the heart of hearts. And I know my brother believes it. And I believe it. And I think you believe it. But you're not going to get there taking 6 shots a game. My opinion. That's why it's a podcast, right? I'm not your coach, right? I'm not saying, but very few people have a basketball IQ like I do.
Yeah.
It's my family. It's my DNA, okay? I've coached Wayne Turner, Scooney Penn, my brother, Jamal Jackson, all those guys from BFC. I have a frame of reference. I was the first 8th grader class ever to go into 5-star. It was me, Billy Hurley, Billy McCaffrey. I'm McCaffrey I went to Duke with Hurley, and Allen Houston. We were the first 8th graders ever admitted to, boom. I was a 5-star baby, Mr. Hustle for 4 straight years, one-on-one champ, 4 straight years. And I didn't even go as a rising senior. No, 3 years, excuse me. I didn't go. I was raised in that. I would go to AAU games and play 13 and under and 19 and under. I was 15 years old playing against your dad, right? Your dad's teams were the best teams in the history of UMass Dartmouth. It was all around me. I know it when I see it. I got my brother ready for the NBA draft. And all with all the stuff that he had going, he was the first pick in the 2nd round. Okay? You have that opportunity. But like my brother, I think you have to enforce your will on people that I'm accustomed to see. I want to see Killer Kolek. That's what I want to see.
That's not your nickname, by the way.
And I understand.
That's what Torres calls it.
So that's his nickname. So I love it. So now listen, right? Coming back home, big expectations, right? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the pressure. Because without the baggage that my brother had, it felt real similar. And I've been around the block 5,000 times with his grandfather, with guys your dad are best friends with. Not many things get me to the place. And I'm going to tell you, without question, it was the most anxious, most pressure-filled environment that I've ever been in. And I wasn't even playing. And it's worse when you're watching your kids or you're watching your brothers, right? Like the dynamic of that game, and it brought similarities to Chris's game. And I know you were going through it, and I know there was the birds in the Badcatz saying these guys, they slept on me, man. Right? So that's when I picked up the phone and called you. And I drew comparisons to how my brother approached that game after coming off an awful game with Oregon, where I think he scored 4 points on like 6 turnovers. And I drew comparisons to his mindset and the mindset that you needed to be in, right? And the levels of pressures and the level of stuff. And I think it's very relatable. Would you guys agree? 100%, right? Very relatable. Kevin watched that game on national TV. It was the best backcourt in the country, supposedly. But at the end of the day, how many people were better than him? And at the end of the day, how many people are better than you? Not many. No. Talk about your approach going into the Providence game.
I mean, it is definitely, like you're saying, different than a lot of games, different atmosphere. I mean,
it is.
I walk out on the court and there's 3 news cameras right there just pointed at me when I'm, doing form shooting. Sure. So it's like, it's a different feeling. Sure. A different feeling seeing, all my buddies, all, people that grew up watching me play. But definitely talking to you pregame. I'd actually watched the documentary
the night before, right?
Like 3 nights before,
Sure.
and I wrote a paper on it.
That must have been an easy paper. Hope you got an A on that
No,
one.
I should have. I'm still waiting for my grade back.
Can we read that live on the podcast next week, by the way?
So, yeah.
No, so I mean, I watched what they were all saying, that saw that you almost got into a fight, everything like that, and
Almost got into a fight. I did get into a
did
fight.
get into a fight.
30 seconds into the game.
Hey.
Hey, I looked at. Can we get that YouTube clip? Oh, I don't know if we can. Of me getting to a fight 30 seconds into the game in the stands.
I can only
And
imagine.
Like,
it's funny. My
only
brother got
imagine.
into. He
Listen-
took a kid's hat and
That's
threw it over the
listen,
stand.
By the end of the game, we were surrounded by state troopers. Now, this is me, Brian O'Neill, Bobby Hargraves, Nicky Salmon, my girlfriend's father, my ex-girlfriend's father, and a handful of, like, I don't know, Brian Palumbo, I think, something like that. Guys your dad knows well, right? I went up with the older guys. And, like, this guy, like, they throw the fake bags of stuff on the court, and it was super nasty. And you said 3 cameras. He probably had 10 of them on him.
Yeah.
Because it was the game of the week on ESPN. That's when ESPN had Big Monday. You know what I mean? UMass was 4th in the country, and they were pumping this up because they know Chris.
They didn't have every game on TV like they do now.
No,
You can find almost
yeah.
everyone.
There was none of the ESPN 3 and all that other
Yeah.
shit. But the nastiness of the crowd, I knew it was going to be bad, but I never realized how, I didn't think it was going to be that bad, right? Because you think as human beings have empathy, and if you're a real basketball fan, then you're going to appreciate guys that are playing at this level that are local, right? You would think that that's how it works.
They don't know who you are, though, right? Like, these people are, like, yelling stuff. They don't know you're Chris's brother. They don't know it was
Oh,
your
no, they
brother.
know my
Like-
brother. They almost didn't let me into the game.
Oh, really?
They made me get my ID.
Well, so, like,
So-
your brother saying the other day, like, he threw the hat. Like, did they know? They probably had no
No,
idea he was
probably
your
no
brother
clue.
saying something, and then you're sitting, your brother's probably sitting there like, oh, boy, like, stop. You know, and then
You gotta remember,
I can only imagine.
We're at UMass. They knew exactly who we were, and it was problems from the beginning, okay? So the guy is continuously screaming, "You're a fucking no good, blah, blah, blah," drinking this. And my mother, who was an unbelievable woman, God rest her soul, said, "Sure, can you please, you're saying all this stuff, but this is my son." You know,
Well, that's time to shut up right then and there. It's time to shut up right then and there.
F you, I'm a tax, I'll do what you want. F you, F your husband. Mom said something about my father was a state rep at the time. I said, "Look, me?"
I can only imagine
I said,
your response.
"Say that to my mother again." You got back, Mr. Junkie, and that's the part of Unguarded that did so well in the focus groups when I grabbed them by the throat and pinned them in a thing and put my foot in it. So I said, "Not now. I want you to say what you said to my mother again."
There was a video on that.
Oh, it's on YouTube right now. Oh no, it's a comment on YouTube. It's got like 200,000 hits.
Why didn't
but
they
they
put
don't-
that in the
they don't
real
have you-
documentary?
Oh, they did it. They said a real documentary. It's in Unguarded.
Of you holding the guy's head?
No,
that's what I'm saying.
It's about people talking about it.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. No, but that is
Probably a good thing
They
there's
didn't
no
put the
video on
real
that.
video.
And listen, we ended that, right? We ended that game with my mother sitting on the Fresno bench, okay, and surrounded by state troopers. The troopers were like, "Your father called. Nobody's gonna." The troopers actually locked that guy up because they told him, "Shut up." And he kept going with the taxpayer thing, and he just wouldn't shut up. It was enough. So they dragged him out in handcuffs, and they surrounded us, kind of. But through that game, saying about your brother's thing, you could see people fighting all over the arena. Like there was pockets of dudes from Fall River and friends of Chris and friends of our family that were fighting all over that arena. You know what I mean? So I know what your brother's going through, and I know what your friends are going through.
He was saying the same thing, like people behind him, he being just assholes. You want to turn around and
Yeah. But it was everyone, like guys like T.J. Rebello and all those guys on the company, Mike Squeaky Hargraves and those guys. They were beefing up there, and you know it was crazy what was happening. You know what I mean? And it really, that's when it becomes like playing against PC for you is more than a game. It's about your family. It's about where you're from, right?
Yeah.
And you did an amazing job, and I was so proud of you. And I haven't talked to you in how long, Tyler?
Yeah, 2 years.
You know, I love you, and I'm a huge fan. I don't know if I maybe should have minded my business or not, but I called you on that day because I thought I had a relative experience that I could share with you
Oh, yeah, I really appreciate
in
it.
a mindset that you needed to have.
Yeah.
going back to, because you don't want to get on that plane with 6 points and 4 turnovers and, leaving it to left.
Yep.
Right? And I expect this to trampoline you and you to be a preseason All-American next year. And I'm not sure if your dad's going to take offense to this or whatever, but my expectations for you are very, very high. Very high. And with that comes the burden of being you every night. Because I think there was a piece of you, Tyler, and a part of you that the basketball hasn't even seen yet. I want to turn on SportsCenter and see 7 threes in a row, bang! Because you have that capability.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. What did you tell me about your coach? Said he's best shooter on the team, right? That's what your coach tells the media?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's him telling you to shoot right there, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got the ultimate confidence.
That's so important. You go to bed before the PC game. I was a fatalist, right? I was an eternal optimist. I think about that. I was a fatalist as well, where I'm thinking everything that's going to go wrong and how I'm going to counter it. And I also had a game very similar to that against Providence College. You remember my first game at PC when I played PC? And I had a pretty good game. I had like 6 points, played like 20 minutes, made some cup steals. But the game was, I would run over every bad scenario and then like get my way to fix it and then boom. So there was a part of me that played ultra scared. Not scared, ultra aware, and it was more about not losing.
We talk about like avoidance goals versus approach goals. So It's like you want to, go, approach is attacking something, going after it. Avoidance is, not wanting to make a mistake and kind of.
That's, you don't want to play the game that way.
Yeah, not being afraid to make a mistake. You're on the defensive already.
So what are you thinking about? Well, going to bed. Are you thinking, I am going to put 30 on these cats and they're going to remember this day? They're going to be talking about this day for 20 years. Or are you saying, man, I got these guys are going to be coming at me. It's going to be fucking crazy. I mean, where's your mental state the night before the game?
I mean, you always want to have that, that one memorable game that, back home. So I felt like, even last year, like I was thinking the same thing, just I want to go out and kill these guys. I mean,
sure.
So we haven't even, these past 2 years, I haven't gotten a win. And we lost to UConn. Yeah. At UConn, we lost at Providence twice. And so I'm thinking, I want to come to New England and get a fucking win.
Sure.
And kill these guys.
Yeah.
But, we had a good game, but, just wanted that next part. Wanted that next part.
I stepped out for a second. He's called me saying he is going bananas in overtime. Talk about your mindset.
There was overtime. Was down 8 with like 3?
Down 8 with like a minute,
that was
minute and a half.
You scored 9 points in a minute and a half.
Had the steals, and then you got the.
I
had 2 steals.
So you get your first bucket.
I sent you a text. So he's a thief.
Yeah. So you get your second, you get your first basket in overtime.
It's my wallet.
After like, you guys were up, and then you guys started playing a little tentative. But so you get that first basket in overtime. What are you thinking?
I mean, we had to let it all go. Then we were down. We were down 8. We had to lay it all down right there. Everything that we had for the last minute and a half. We did. We came back and tied it up, sent it to double.
How good you feel with your last basket you scored in that game? You must have felt like you were King Kong.
I actually thought we were down 1 in that game because they did a free throw. We were down 1. We fouled them. And then they hit 1 out of 2. I thought we were still down 1.
So did I.
After I hit
That's
that.
That's crazy you mentioned that. So did I.
Actually, we were watching the game last night, and the announcer said it too. He was like,
that's right. Remember I talked to you about that?
And I was just going to say something about the announcer, but go ahead. I don't want to.
Yeah, the announcer said it. He was like, that puts him ahead or whatever. Yeah. And then he's like,
he thought the same exact thing.
I thought the same exact thing. I was talking to him at the time. You must feel on top of the world now, right? When you're making that run. I mean, come on. You got the whole Civic Center watching you and their beloved Friars. You're about to rip victory from the jaws of defeat, and it's going to be you that's putting it on them. I mean, is there a better thing? That's like King Hawana from Hawaii catching the ultimate wave, surfing. That's like Gibson hitting that home run. Are you kidding me? That's like Billy Miller hitting that single and scored Dave Roberts. I mean, seriously, relatable. You're there. It's national TV, CBS Sports. You are taking this game over. You live 20 minutes. You grew up a PC fan, probably, right?
Yeah, we had season tickets.
Okay. So what's it like?
No, it was. I mean, I wanted to win that game so bad. Once I fouled out, it was, I was hoping we had won that game.
Now let me ask you something, because they cut to commercial, but right before they did, it looked like you were almost in the coach's spot, and you were talking to the team. Was I wrong about that?
Yeah,
because it looked like the second you fouled out, and we were on the phone again, and I was like, it looked like you had just fouled out, and I'm like, you looked like you had like everybody, and you were kind of giving that talk. I don't know if I'm wrong about that, but
no, so
that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, so the first, like, whenever we have like media timeouts or whatever, the coaches talk, and then so somebody takes the huddle for like a player sits in the coach's chair, and
Gotcha.
I'm normally the guy that takes the huddle and kind of talks to the guys.
See, I saw that, and I was like, he's intense right now. Like you could just.
No, I was
tell.
into it, man.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking.
How nasty were the fans?
It was bad. I mean, they were throwing shit onto the court and freaking, I'm at the free throw line. They're going like this and all that. I mean, I was walking.
That's the wrong go to do that.
So compared to other places, though, like, was this a little bit? This
of course,
was
yeah.
definitely turned up.
They're all me. When I fouled out,
it's all about him.
Everybody in the crowd's waving me off when I fouled out.
Was anybody standing and applauding?
I mean, I'm sure. Some
Like that is
people
some
were,
ignorant bullshit. Like if you got a basketball soul.
Yeah. If you're
Like,
really
it's
the true
College,
basketball fans were doing that. They were standing up and applauding. But
I don't care if I went to Providence College. My daughter did. My son did. If I was like the number one donor to them, I mean, how am I booing a local kid at that point, Kevin? Are you thinking about that at all a little bit? Yeah, man, it's crazy. Why though? Why do you think that they had that type of stuff towards not only you, but my brother Chris, right? You're both success stories. You know what I mean? You both are in places where very few people ever get to perform at. Like,
just a little animosity, just.
But why though? But listen, you didn't break up with their daughter. You didn't break their daughter's heart.
Yeah.
You might have did.
I mean, you didn't break their car window. I mean, what? Yeah, I don't understand how it gets to that type of level for people. I understand the moronic frat boy and the drunk college kid or the idiot hanging around like PC, blah, blah, blah. But anybody who's got any type of stuff says, yo, man, I know dad's a good guy, great ball player. I play with him, my brother played with my dad.
I think most of the people that were born into it just drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the people
that were doing that, yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of people doing it, but they were just like drunk idiots.
Sure.
See, like I'm a PC fan. I'm not a super fan. I don't watch a ton of games, right? But the second, like, you told me where this kid was from in the situation, like, I was rooting for you guys. Like, I really was. I was rooting for you. Yep. That was me.
I would hope that there would be, right? But that's not the response that I got. I talked to Joe Camara, said that they were nasty as hell. I talked like 3 or 4 other guys that were, they said that they were real bad. Did Providence offer you any security for that at all? Or anything extra? No? All right, so the press conference, you choked up, right? Let's talk about that. Because I thought that, because he sent me, I was thinking, saying, dude, you picked the right kid because this kid's special. Like when he watched the press conference. Yeah. Are you an emotional kid like that? Talking about that was very.
It was real. You could tell it was real.
Very real, but very endearing. And I hoped a lot of them idiots and meatheads and meatballs that were being nasty should have saw that. Or their girls or their wives said, hey, listen, hey, idiot, this is the kid that you were fucking calling an asshole all game right here. You tell me if he's an asshole now.
No, I mean, I'm definitely not an emotional kind of guy, but
that'll bring that out of you, right?
Yeah, I mean, that moment was, it would have been everything to win that game, but I mean, it was special to do what I did in that building. with all my family there. And
Walt Disney doesn't write sports scripts, brother. You came this close, but you're gonna get them. You're gonna hit a game.
I was gonna say,
you're gonna hit a game-winning shot to beat PC in your career.
That's the
Believe
storybook
it.
ending. Like
And that's it. And that's what you keep chasing.
Yeah.
You always got to chase it, right? You always got to chase the rabbit.
When do you have them again? Like they come
So
up to
we
you guys?
play them, yeah. So every year we play them twice, home and away.
Yep.
So they'll be up at our place probably in February or something like that.
Oh, you don't know the exact date yet. Huh?
No.
Okay, yeah, that one's circled right on that calendar right there.
So, yeah, you break down a little bit. It was so generous, so cool. Was it seeing your father that triggered it?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I didn't see him at first when I first walked in, and then I
No,
just
because you said that.
and
And
I-
it seems like after you said that, I got choked up.
yeah, man, I saw him in the back. I mean, just knowing all the hours that we had put in, you know, he's out there rebounding for me, and I mean, he's been. I mean, I can't even tell you the amount of hours he's been, you know, just under the hoop, throwing the ball back to me. We're shooting against each other, and so it was like I was like, you know, I knew how proud he was in that moment, and I knew how proud, you know, my whole family was. So, you know, it was just more so thinking about them and all that they did for me.
Kev, let's talk about the father and son relationship through basketball, right? You yourself were a great player, the best ever to play UMass Dartmouth. Should have been a D1 player. A lot of guys made mistakes, and we talked about that before. But you were definitely an icon and a rock and a pillar of the Rhode Island basketball community. Must have been a special life for you, brother.
Yeah, it is just because I know how hard he's worked.
Sure.
I'm his parents.
How hard you've worked too, man. I mean, you work too, right?
I mean, I'm there and I enjoy it. I don't consider it hard
Yeah, but I'm talking about the development of it,
Yeah,
right?
no,
The rides and the coaching.
I've seen, we've been there hours in the gym,
Sure.
like every day.
Every day.
Since
And you were in the gym today?
the gym today. Every day he's home probably. Last
Sure.
night we were in the gym.
Good.
There hasn't been many days in our life we haven't been in the gym together.
Sure. So you see this coming, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as a father, is there a greater feeling in the world?
No, it's just, I mean, obviously you want him to win, but he's just proud that he's out there, proud of
Sure.
everything that he does. And
Now, you're an understated guy, Kev. You always have been. You let your actions speak for yourself. But prepare for this game. Are there certain people that you want to be around? Like, because they can see you with your, some weaknesses and can see you with some stuff, and, you might do the wrong thing and say the wrong thing because of the pressure volume goes from 2 to 10, right?
no, I mean,
He doesn't want to be around anybody
No,
in the
no,
game.
exactly.
He's
That's what I'm
freaking
saying.
pacing back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
He's-
My father, high school,
watch my 8-year-old.
he used to walk around the causeway at Boston Garden.
Yeah,
So
that's more like me. Like I was down low and around. Like there was people screaming and yelling and
Sure.
throwing stuff. I mean, I like most games. I like to find it.
Yeah.
Just be a
did you find yourself cheering more this game than you usually would?
No, I'm not like a
Yeah.
big rah
No, I know
cheering
that.
guy.
You never were.
I just like
But did you find yourself like confessing?
a
that,
couple
like,
of times.
that you wanted to get
A couple of times.
So when he's going off in overtime,
yeah, I'm
your fist pumping.
Yeah, I mean,
you're high fiving Willie and Iceman and all
No,
those
his
guys?
thing, he touches his toes. He goes down, he's
No,
sitting in the
like,
chair,
I'm-
he touches his toes. CJ knows. He's been.
No, I expect him to I know he's gonna do good.
Sure.
So I mean, I'm not that like a rah
Sure.
during the game and stuff like that.
No. I hear you. My father wasn't either. He gets off to a good start, right? So you know it's going to be a good night, right? What advice did you have for him before the game?
I didn't really.
Was
say,
it much different than the advice I had?
No, I mean, it was totally different because I didn't really say. Just, I mean, I know he prepares and he's gonna do the best he can. So coming from you, I mean, that's
Yeah.
great. But
Yeah.
I don't really talk to him that much before the games.
Sure, yeah.
Just good
No,
luck.
yeah.
And I know that.
It wasn't about a preparedness. It was about if you're going to go through it, right, and you're going to subject yourself to the ultimate litmus test, right? You want the kind of result that you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can say here, we can read all the school books now about all of that, but you don't want that demon in the back head saying, man, I fucking played my worst game there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, the human psyche doesn't work that way. You feel me?
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, I
This game trampoline and to the next level.
Yeah,
Vice versa. If you had played a bad game, maybe it's like, oh man, no,
Sure.
the next game isn't as big as the next one.
It'd magnify it definitely for sure.
Without a doubt.
yeah.
Magnify.
Now, how was your wife at the games?
My wife, she's not as competitive as me. I mean, she wants him to win.
Yeah.
She wants him to do.
She's more of a yeller than you.
She's definitely more of a yeller.
Yeah.
She's happy to be around her family and
Yeah,
friends.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I just want to be.
You guys were wilding out because they mentioned it behind the bench. Were you
Yeah.
guys one of the guys on the
No,
bench?
that wasn't me. That was
No.
her. That was her and
Her and them?
and
Brandon,
Bob-
yeah.
Yeah, like so she.
Joe Camara said he got into it with a guy too, right? Or something like that? With
yeah,
Willie's friend,
yeah,
Joe?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So where were you guys? Did you were you sitting with them or were you walking, moving and grooving?
I was moving a little bit. I was like 4 rows back. I was supposed to be. The seat I think they gave us was like right behind the bench, and you really can't see.
Did Eddie take care of you guys with any tickets or anything like that? Did he call if you needed
well,
it?
the players get
His players did.
Yeah, so his players like
Yeah,
so
because
get
they gave
tickets,
them all
but-
up,
but
right?
the tickets are like
that's how it
they're
works.
all actually they're all over the arena, so we weren't really that much together.
Sure, yeah. Now, did any of your friends offer you their tickets or?
Yeah, I had a lot of people. That,
Yeah, I'm sure.
yeah, you know.
Now, walking through there, Kevin, I'm going to say 1 out of 3 has to know you, right?
I maybe not 1 out of 3, but I did know a lot of people.
Yeah.
He had a lot of support. Like maybe
Yeah,
you
of
could hear it
course.
in the building.
I mean, there must have been guys
He
that
had a
there
lot.
must have been guys. I mean, I know 2 or 3 guys that played with you, Summit, that went to the game.
Yeah.
That were happy for you.
Yeah, there's
You know what I
probably
mean?
like six guys that went.
Yeah, you know.
that I played with.
Yeah.
that followed, but a lot of people from town.
From
a lot-
town, of
even-
course,
even
yeah.
PC fans.
Of course, yeah. Basketball
Yeah,
fans.
we want.
I wish Bill Reynolds would have been there.
Yeah.
I really do. He was a good man.
He's a great
Bill,
guy.
Bill would have loved, and even the other guy that doesn't work for them anymore, Kevin McNamara.
Great guy. Yeah.
Great guy too. Like, I wish those guys could have put their color about. Bill Reynolds would have had a masterpiece about that game because that's everything he likes.
Yeah.
You know, that's everything that, you know, it's his being. It's, you know, what he wanted to be. You know what I mean? He wanted to do it at PC, not Brown, but, you know, like, you know, it's just it's an incredible story. Where to from here now, Kev?
Where does he go from here?
No, I'm talking about where do you guys go from here? Like, you're back in the gym, so it's behind you, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Like back in the gym the next night. I mean,
Sure.
he's prepared for moments like this his entire life. CJ knows. CJ's around.
Sure,
him
yeah,
more.
sure.
So I mean,
Lots of guys do though, Kev.
yeah. But I think, like you said earlier, I think it's in his DNA. It's
Sure.
just, he's
Without
made
question.
for situations like that. And I know
Yeah.
he's gonna have a great rest of the year.
Sure.
And I know the team will do well, but like he's made for that.
He is. He's made for that moment.
Made for the moment.
Now, but what I told him, and tell me if I'm wrong again, and please do, right? I tell him, I said, for Seton Hall, I said, you need to create a moment and create an enemy and create a purpose and go.
Yeah.
Like, I think we gotta keep the needle buried, right?
He's the best one. He's the villain.
Yeah, without question.
Yeah.
You know, and an underdog. And
Because you feel like it's like a in my head it's like a fuck you mentality. Like I'm just
Yeah.
you gotta have that every game. And you
listen, fuck you. I want to be an All-American. Fuck you. I want to be all Big East. Fuck you. I want to be the name that people are talking about when they leave this gym. You're in a rarefied air right now. My analogy, right? About how many laps you got left.
Yeah.
When you started this journey at 5 years old, you had 1,000 laps.
Yeah.
You had a lap and a half.
Yeah.
You had a lap and a half before you're a professional. You know, there's a Latin saying called carpe diem. You know what it means?
Yeah.
Seize the day. You know what I mean? And go get it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm a resource for you. You got my number, but approach every game. The difference between being average and good is mentality. The difference between being good and great is mentality. If you take that killer cold, if you take that mentality every minute you're into that game, then the world is yours. You know, if you don't bring that mental approach, you're going to come back to the pack. And then it might be an arbitrary decision of, like it was with Tom Brady, it was a flip of a coin. Legend has it, right? You know, you want to be there. I think you have special opportunities. And I know you got 2 years of eligibility left.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And this COVID stuff is crazy with all the eligibility that got going on. But, I mean, I foresee you being an All-American next year and, you know, being one of the faces of college basketball, and especially in the Big East, and turn that into a professional career. I mean, I think it's right there, and I think that you got to go get it. You know, and that's what one of the things that I wanted to tell you about that day and that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And maybe someday you'll tell some other kid coming up, say, yo, you know, this is a little different. You know, this is what we got to do. This is how we got to rock. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you know, I get choked up. You know, it's you guys like me, your dad, you, my family. There's a handful of other families out there that, you know, put a lot of miles on that grind. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and to see it metamorphosize into this beautiful thing of you guys being here, and as long as we've known one another, you know, I just think it's unbelievable. You know, and I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of your dad, and you know, I'm with you guys. Anybody have any questions here, Jimmy? You got
stole my Goran Dragic question.
It's all right. It's all right. Anybody have a question? Do you have a question? Come on, yeah, you do. You have no questions. Kevin, anything you want to say? I mean,
no, I just want to thank you for letting us come here.
Come on.
And I mean, people that don't know, and I've told Tyler this, he's the best high school player that I've ever seen, and maybe in history of New England. The only two-time.
Yeah, I was all 3 years.
I
I was 3 years all state, 2 years player of the year.
2 years.
The only two people that do it with me and my brother.
But no one really, like, you were talented, but you got by. Your will to win was unbelievable.
Sure.
And you put that team 2 state championships, and you had some good players.
Yeah.
But you would have.
It also helped me playing against men like you guys too in those summer league games at the Bank Army. Remember them?
No, I remember them.
They were fun. They were wars down there.
They were wars.
Guys like Tony DePina and those guys. You know, I was lucky to be around basketball guys that were good guys, tough guys, play the game the right way, and there was a special incubator. You know, and like you were raised in. You know,
I just appreciate you having us.
yeah, man,
Thank you so much.
I do. Hope you don't mind me giving your kid a pep talk before the game,
No,
man.
I love it. I mean, maybe every game you're gonna have to do
I
that.
told him, man. I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna be watching.
Listen, I don't watch much college basketball, but you better believe every Marquette game I'm gonna be tuning in.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And today, right, as we invoke on our new brand and our new business, his grandfather gave me the scholarship to Boston College. Right? We talked about that community, man. It's real small. His grandfather was an amazing guy. His father will tell you how close I was with his grandfather before and after my basketball career. I mean, you know that, right? You know what I mean? Like this is us, and you know.
The New England basketball community is crazy how small it is. You know, everything's intertwined.
I mean, Noah's going through it right now. He's ready to have a baby. He's hurt. He's on the bench. He got off to a good start. Bryson's still not really getting the opportunity, but he's out there fighting. You got Dami Mello's kid down there, Cigarette, and we all spent a lot of time together. You know, Cole and everybody doing it. And from my brother's workouts at Penfield, right?
He started it all.
Yeah, you know what I mean? All those guys were in the same gym.
You guys must have busted out like 70 different names. Johnny 2 times, this guy, rapper.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like, I don't know.
Well, they all went.
I mean, you guys all know each other, that circle right there.
When my brother first got sober, he wasn't speaking. He was making money through his basketball academy. So he would have like the best, like the Murphy's kids, Ricky Lato, Rudolph. The kid who runs the Sidewinders from Providence was a ball player too, right? No, not the son. The Hell's Angels. My brother said was at his academy.
Oh, really?
I don't even know. Who that is.
The white kid. He was a high school basketball player. He said he used to go to his workouts. He's the president of the Hell's Angels of Providence.
Yeah, I don't even know who he
Right
is.
now, no, he was at Avery. All those guys were down there, and there was some the kid who went to Butler that everybody slipped on, right?
Travis.
Yeah, Travis. I mean, the talent that was in that gym, there must have been, 10, 15 Division I guys.
Yeah, it was.
Playing, whether they were younger or older. And that's how, he provided for his family newly sober until the speaking thing really caught fire. And now, the rest is history. But so that's how long it goes. Do you keep in touch with Noah or my nephew or any of those guys?
Not much. I mean, when I see him, obviously we reconnect and say what's up. But
Do you follow what Cole's doing?
Yeah,
or what
no, for
Ben's
sure. I
doing?
mean, I look into all this stuff. I mean,
Sure.
checking everybody. I mean, like you said, it's a big community. I mean, I'm sure we're going to be I'm gonna be back here in your seat interviewing,
Yeah.
Cole.
I
and
know
his
you.
kid. And
Yeah.
so
Listen,
it's pretty cool.
anytime you want to do a podcast, brother, right here, communications major, we could probably knock off 3 classes.
Yeah.
You probably knock off 3 classes right now. I'll sign away. Tyler worked 50 hours a week, was here before the door opened, and it was an amazing situation. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you have any what do they call it, nils?
Oh,
NILs, yeah. Well,
Yeah, so we kind of work with through like a collective, which is basically like the school kind of. You can't work through the school, but it's like a in partnership kind of.
Sure.
It's called like Be the Difference or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like Travis Diener who played at Marquette.
Loved him.
Yeah, he runs.
Loved him.
He runs the collective.
He was a bad
Yeah,
white boy.
he's good. He still plays. We still
Yeah.
play.
Good.
Pick up with him and stuff. But yeah, he runs it and kind of we do stuff through them. So it's been
So
good.
how much money are you making?
Good amount.
Good amount? No, that's enough. I mean, let me tell you something right now. The most prophetic thing I've ever heard a collegiate athlete say was when the kid from Boston, when UConn won. What was his name again? The point guard. Napier?
Shabazz.
When he said,
no food.
You don't know what it's like on break when you don't have enough money for bologna.
Yeah.
And I've been there.
Yeah. That was it.
Kids were
Times
always-
have changed.
You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like that's real.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's real. These kids we were taking advantage of for a long, long time. Well, how do I get you? Can I pay you to promote our new brand here, a podcast? I mean, do I have to go to any paperwork for that, or what do I got to do?
It's free of charge, man. You gave me that pep talk. Anything you need.
Nah. I want to make it. I want to make it right. How about if I pay you like if I send you like a couple $100 a month? That's not? I'm not alumni. Is that not illegal? Is it?
No. It's just anybody can send me.
Do I have to register? Register that?
So it's just through me. Like, so say I have to kind of disclose to whoever what I'm doing for this, for the compensation.
Jenny, do you think that would be a good move for us?
I don't see how it would be bad. That's
No kidding. I think that's a great. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Just retweet some stuff for us and Instagram share a couple of things.
definitely.
All right. That's what's up. Now, what's up with you? You want to come on and talk or what? What's up?
I'm good.
What do you mean you're good? You're good. You're good. You're the first.
You got some questions? If you got some questions, please.
I got all the questions, but listen, this is the first. Hey, this is the first ward that didn't talk my ear off. What's going on? Where's your father? Get over here. By the way, can you get the Herren Project stuff? It's in that green bag.
So we
We gotta head out.
You
Though.
gotta
We
head out?
got
All right.
At high school
they're
there.
actually doing a ceremony for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
You want to give me next time?
Well, no, I want you to come on next week. Are you around?
Yeah, I'm out.
All right, hey, listen.
I appreciate you so
Thank
much.
you for everything. I love you too. Let me see that. We got some herring gear. I know it's cold in Milwaukee. So you got a Herren Wellness hat. You with that? All right, but and grab a T-shirt for him too. Jimmy, you want to help them grab a T-shirt?
Yeah.
All right.
Really appreciate you.
I love you. I'm gonna hold on. Just give me 1 second. Badcatz Sports New England. I'm the Hurricane. Tyler Kolek. Big things happening. Unbelievable day. Thank you to my man Daniel Keating on the wheels of steel here. Without him, it wouldn't be possible. We'll be back in a little bit with Badcatz Sportscast.